Hello, my name is Russell Myers. Welcome to Issues Unite. All right, so this is continuing on with an examination of Biden's first 100 days. Sorry, I had kind of fallen away from that for a bit. I just got busy with other things, including the live stream on Saturday, which happened on Facebook. I am going to be looking at other venues, but I ran into too many tech issues, extreme lag on YouTube. So Facebook wound up being the best resource. You would think YouTube would be a better option for video because it's all video, but obviously not. Anyway, I think the discussion went really well. I hope that people join in for the next one. I am planning for the next live stream to be this Thursday at 7 p.m. Central Time. So I have not yet determined what the subject is going to be. But like I said, I'm going to start off with a central subject, but it can go any direction, according to how the discussion goes. All right, so let's talk about a very, very important subject, which is Biden's militaristic stance toward China. I cannot overstress how important this subject is. You can try to downplay it in your mind, but even Trump had more of a trade war going on with China rather than militaristic. And if you remember, Obama was the one who initiated the pivot to Asia. And Biden is now not only continuing on with this, but he is ramping it up horribly. And this is something that should frighten the hell out of you. So let me go to the White House briefing room again. I'm going to keep using this as a resource. I go straight to the horse's mouth. All right, so read out of President Joe Biden's call with President Xi Jinping of China. All right, you can go here and read the whole thing if you like. President Biden underscored his fundamental concerns about Beijing's coercive and unfair economic practices, crackdown in Hong Kong, human rights in Xinjiang, and increasingly assertive actions in the region, including toward Taiwan. The assertive actions would be, U.S. military presence in the South China Sea. How would you feel if China had warships in the Gulf of Mexico or off the coast of California? Unfair economic practices, pardon me, but we're the ones that are sanctioning over 80 countries, and Biden has not rescinded a single one of them. All right, preventing weapons proliferation. We're the ones selling weapons all around the world, and just announced a $100 billion research project into new nuclear weapons, etc. President Biden committed to pursuing practical, results-oriented engagement when it advances the interests of the American people and those of our allies. How about diplomacy that benefits everyone around the world? All right, that would benefit the American people. All right, let's go to the next page here. And this is remarks to by President Biden to Department of Defense personnel. So he talks about diplomacy, and the very first thing he does on the same day that he talks to Xi Jinping, on the very same day, February 10th, he talks to the DOD, military personnel. So often our armed forces and the Department of Defense staff are how the rest of the world encounters America. Yeah, you think? Why isn't it by diplomacy? And you all know as well as anyone that our country is safer and stronger when we lead not just with the example of our power, but with the power of our example. He keeps using that. And I hate that quote. I hate him using that. As your commander-in-chief, I will never hesitate to use force to defend the vital interests of the American people and our allies around the world. Yeah, when necessary. Who determines when it's necessary? And look at the criteria that is being used to determine when necessary. But I believe force should be a tool of last resort, not first. Then why do you have ships in the South China Sea? Why are you increasing forces in Syria? Why are you talking about on and on? Okay. Why aren't you pulling troops out of Afghanistan and Iraq, and all these countries where they don't want us? All right? So, no, that is not a tool of force is not a tool of last resort. I will work with Secretary Austin, former Raytheon executive Austin, and leaders around the world to bring a responsible end to wars that have dragged on for far too long. Really? Then why aren't you pulling out of these other countries? While continuing to ensure that terrorist threats cannot endanger the security of the American people. The FBI says that the greatest terrorist threat to the American people is white supremacist groups. They have been saying this for years. I also know that you, military personnel, are essential to the work of our diplomacy. Not only as the ultimate guarantor of our security, but as diplomats yourselves. Diplomats with guns. All right, down here, because we are better able to project our power when we're amplifying our strength through our alliances. It was so important, blah, blah. All right. There is no aspect of our agenda of the 21st century leadership where the women and men of the Defense Department do not have a role. No aspect of our agenda where the men and women of the Defense Department do not have a role. Whether it's helping curb the pandemic here at home and around the world, pardon me, or addressing the real threats of climate change, the U.S. military is the biggest polluter in the history of the planet. All right? That is costing us billions in impacts on our bases. Right, on our bases. On our national security, or being part of an ongoing fight for racial justice. All right? I agree the military is an integral part of the fight for racial justice. All right? I absolutely agree with that. And we need to meet the growing challenges posed by China to keep the peace and defend our interests in the Indo-Pacific and globally. China is not a militaristic threat to us. All right. Today I was briefed on a new DoD-wide China task force that Secretary Austin is standing up to look at our strategy and operational concepts, technology, and force posture, and so much more. The task force will work quickly, drawing on civilian and military experts across the department to provide within the next few months recommendations to Secretary Austin on key priorities and decision points so that we can chart a strong path forward on China-related matters. It will require a whole of government effort, bipartisan cooperation in Congress, and strong alliances and partnerships. That's how we'll meet the China challenge. Again, he's talking about a Department of Defense initiative. That is how we will meet the China challenge and ensure the American people with the competition win the competition of the future. Your warriors. That's funny because up here he was saying they were diplomats. All right. Your incredible heroes and incredible patriots. Does that sound like something Trump would say? I mean, you know, I know. That's just going to spark an argument. I will never politicize the work you do. If you are using the U.S. military to enforce trade, you are politicizing. You are politicizing. There is no other definition for it. You're all the best our country has to offer. I would absolutely disagree with that. Teachers, doctors, nurses, firefighters, diplomats. These are the best our country have to offer. All right? We've got a lot better than the military. Anyway, he does go into Black History Month. I think that should just be, a separate presentation period. Anyway, some things I want to bring up here. All right. It is absolutely foolish. I cannot state how foolish it is to be aggressive toward China. Okay, he keeps on talking about, and he's continuing the Trump rhetoric on China dumping steel. All right. Like I said, there's no dumping going on. It's being purchased by American corporations. So that's not dumping. But China sells hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of tons of processed steel to the United States on an annual basis. China sells as the source for 80% of our rare earth minerals that are needed for advanced technology. China could very easily, if we are aggressive toward them, trust me, the very first thing they're going to do is just completely cut off all sales of steel and rare earth minerals. The rare earth minerals basically cripples our advanced technology that is used by our military. And what is the main component in most military equipment? Steel. So they already have the manufacturing capacity. And just if you take what steel is in the pipeline right now, and they divert it to build more military equipment, they're way ahead of us. All right, if we try and be aggressive toward China, that conflict is going to be over very quickly, because they can move a lot faster than we can. So they will be able to produce a lot more. We would have to actually build the manufacturing capacity for military equipment. Now, in World War, everybody will talk, some people will talk about World War II. What happened in World War II was that we were not under attack. So we were able to do that in a fairly short period of time. But we already had a lot of shipyards and so forth in existence at that time. Today, not so much. All right, so they have shipyards. They're building ships every day, and we're not. All right, even most of the cruise ships are built in where? Korea and other countries. Another thing to bring up is that if we are aggressive toward China, well, China has a NATO-like agreement with Russia. Oh, and by the way, if we're aggressive toward China, they are also going to stop selling their rare earth minerals and steel to our allies as well. How happy do you think our allies are going to be about that? Because they're not going to want to give the capacity to our allies to be used against them. That would be stupid. China is not stupid. So Russia and China have a NATO-like alliance. If one of them is attacked, both will respond, because they know that if one of them is attacked, the other one is next. And it's not even next, because Biden is also being just as aggressive toward Russia. He's trying to be aggressive toward both of them concurrently. So, and then you're going to have North Korea stepping in. You're probably going to have the Philippines stepping in on China's side. Again, because the Philippines, they're not stupid either. And look at a map. Just look at a map. How many countries are going to be on the side of China and Russia? So this is an absolutely foolish stance for Biden to be taking. And you should not just be listening to it. You should not be cheering for it in any way. All right. That's it for this one. I'm going to be making a few more videos to catch up on what's been going on. All right. Share this video. Talk about these subjects. If you can, please donate $1 a month to help expand the channel. I'll catch you in the next one.